failure, and this is Banished. Well, more than Banished, this is Banished with the Colonial Charter Mod. I'm running on version 1.55, I believe. And it's been a while since I played Banished. I played a good few hours while it was relatively fresh, but I'd never really got that heavily into it, but always meant to revisit the game. So here we go. I'm going to use pretty much all of the Colonial Charter options that we have. But I want to, just play this as though it's a regular game. Now, Colonial Charter, for those who don't know, and I'll leave a link in the subscription. I'll leave a link in the description. There we go. Let's get it right. Yeah, basically it adds a heck of a lot more stuff. It adds a load more crops, new buildings, different building styles in order to kind of reflect that you've been set up as the governor of an overseas colony, rather than being just banished to create a new village as in the original game. So there are some bits and pieces that don't quite work. Well, they don't quite make sense as far as I'm concerned, but they're further down the line. For the most part, everything just works beautifully. So let's call this something, this Colonelsburg. I'm feeling. I think Berg on those. Yes, Colonelsburg is quite nice. Here's the map seed for those of you who want to play along at home. 397 533 57. There you go. Use it, don't use it, I don't really mind. We will be keeping disasters on because it mixes things up once in a while, and we'll stick with a mild climate. But it means that we do get some snow from time to time, just because that's a thing to do. Okay, so I'm going to unpause, and we're going to get things rolling. Right then, okay, so first things first, what we need to get houses for people, we need to get food on the go, because one of the best things about this game is the fact that it is very tough to survive. Once you know what you're doing, it gets just a little bit easier, but initially it is not it's not easy, let's put it that way. So let's get some. Do we want to just put some basic housing up to start with? I think that's probably a good idea. So the largest I've ever built playing kind of standard Banished is up to around 150 people. Now with this mod you can go a heck of a lot bigger than that, given the size of the map. But the challenges remain the same, and that's to just be able to survive in the first instance. Now, one of the other things, now I'm going to pause. If you've not played the game, one of the things you'll do most often, or one of the ways to actually survive the thing, is you will have menus up all over the place. So here's Colonelsburg and the general inventory thereof. We also want the event log, which we'll have over here, just to keep me informed of anything that's going on. And I also want the professions list, with which we will be tinkering on a regular basis. And I'm going to assign 2 people to building early on. Actually, no, I'm going to apply all 6 that it's asking for, and I'll shuffle those around. So yes, beautiful screenshots, not quite so commonplace, because you're going to have people assigned all over the shop. And if you don't assign them to the right jobs, well, stuff doesn't get done. So while I'm about it, I'm also going to set up some food gathering. I'll bang a hunting cabin out here, and as you can see, it's got a sphere of influence for where they can actually hunt. We'll have one of those, and I also want some gatherers, and we'll plant them in the same kind of area. And finally, I'm going to want some lumberjacks. Now, queuing up buildings in this fashion, normally I would try and wait a little longer before queuing up quite so much, because keeping a close eye on your resources is all important. If you don't do so, and chances are within this episode we'll get to the point where we're going to have to make our first big resource decision. But yeah, if you don't keep an eye on resources, everybody is going to die. And it doesn't come backward in killing everybody off. Where are we? Smithing a crown saw pit. No. Woodcutter. There we go. Now the woodcutter, you might think, well, I've got a lumberjack already. What the heck do I need a woodcutter for? The woodcutter provides firewood, which keeps people warm. Now, when it gets to winter, if everybody's not warm, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay, let's unpause and get things moving along, shall we? And while we're about it, we will also up the tempo just a touch. Now, I don't want to rattle along at too great a speed just now, but I do want to make sure that that you're not sat around waiting for stuff to happen for ages. So there we go. Now, housing. Once you've got a house up, I mean, I've got these really quite cheesy little houses to start with. I don't know if I'll bulldoze those or leave those for wretched new folk later on. But getting everybody housed is kind of an early objective. Log cabin 24 and 8, 16 and 8. That will be better. And equally, I don't want these to be too close to my kind of main area here, my storage area, because I want to use that to make sure that things are relatively close to operations. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. Okay, 6 people on the construction job right now. We could possibly update that even more. So my reserve of logs is already running low. In which case, I shall do I shall expedite a slight removal of resources from that bit there, which will get me some more logs in the short term. Now my forester, once he's built, will bring in more logs quite quickly. There we go. Right, so the woodcutter has been built, and it's got a question mark over it because there's currently nobody working there. So we'll soon change that. Now, from the labourers are basically unspent resources. No, that one. There we go. Yeah, they're people who currently don't have a job, and therefore will just do, picking and carrying. They'll quite happily chop down all this extra stuff that I've just told them to clear, which will yield me some stone and a bit of wood, which is all helpful. You can also see we've just had the gatherers and the hunters come online. So I'm going to drop my building team down, and we'll put all 3 on hunting, and we'll put another 2 on gathering. And then relatively soon we'll also have the forester come online, but he's probably going to wait for some logs. What are we looking for? 24 of 30 at the moment, so I am going to need to clear a few more. There you go. Let's get rid of a load of this stuff. Now the good thing about foresters is they replant after they chop, which means that you have an endlessly renewable source of materials that you can chuck into operation. Now my hunters are going to be well, basically finding whatever wildlife they can and judiciously executing it in order to turn it into food. On which subject I do need to be thinking farm. And the first exciting point, such as it is, of the game is what exactly crop-wise have I been given to start with. Let's go 10 by 15. That's a good size field right there. And my happy-go-lucky workforce will clear all of that on their way to constructing the farm. And once it's done, I'll be able to select the crop that goes with it. All being well, it'll be something relatively useful. But we'll find out, I'm sure. 2 of 8 gatherers? I didn't build 2 gathering huts, did I? Like an idiot. I think I probably did. What have we got? Gatherer's hut, gatherer's hut. Excellent. No foresters. Not quite sure how I managed to do that. Oh well. Foresting is kind of important if we're going to survive. I'm sure you all spotted that, but that one just got past me. Normally I don't make quite such heinous mistakes. So all these chaps who are running around with house icons over the top of them are looking for somewhere to live, and we want to get them housed somewhere like this. Now, housing is critical because this is how you get your population to grow. You're done on a... No, you haven't got any logs. That's what the no-go symbol is all about. And I've told him to have well, the default is having a fuel limit of 200. Now, each of these houses will come and pilfer some fuel, firewood. There you go, see? Then you got some ginger and some potatoes. I know what's for tea. What about this one? No, that's the one you were just looking at. Firewood and potatoes. They care not for ginger. These chaps, well, they've decided to have a much more balanced meal. We've got some venison and some mushrooms and some onions. Lovely. Now, we've still got a few homeless folk left, but I do want to ensure that both my field and my foresters are up and running before pursuing my housing solution. What have we got? Reserve of logs is low. That's okay. I'm at least stepping in the right direction to resolve that now. What are we short here? You need 32. Okay, well, it'll happen. It'll happen. Right, 2 spare labourers. We'll stick another one on gathering for now. Getting through the first winter is, you know, the immediate challenge. Now, you should have enough resources to partially get there, as long as you don't be a complete imbecile. But the goal will be to have this field fully operational for next harvest, because doing so will hopefully ensure that we have food enough to cover the second winter. And I'm not going to upgrade my population too quickly, because doing so ends in disaster. And one of the truisms about this game is, more often than not, if your entire population ends up dying, it's because of a mistake you made probably half an hour ago. Rarely is it due to something that happened right there and then. Let's clear this lot. Come on, folks, clear this lot out of my way, will you? We need the wood. And then both my gatherers and my hunters and Dr. Forrester, when he turns up, will be able to get the ball rolling. Now, I can set my limits as far as how much stuff I want people to gather relatively easily, but we'll stick to the defaults for the moment, just until we're settled. Because I've got 2 other fundamental buildings that I need to get established fairly quickly, and those are the blacksmith for creating tools, and a tailor for creating winter clothing. Now, winter clothing lasts a heck of a lot longer than tools do, but without tools, everybody's progress slows down dramatically. Here we go, look. Forester's Lodge almost done. At which point we'll have a quick reshuffle of people. Right, let's have a quick reshuffle of people. We'll leave 1 person on that, and we'll put 2 on foresting. So only 1 builder now. Now, these people who don't have a house are going to start complaining pretty soon, I reckon, about not having anywhere to live. And yep, there we go. So, first crop field is ready. Now, I want it to be ready for the start of the season. Broccoli or chickpeas? I will go with chickpeas. They're more of a staple for those of you who like hummus. And we'll reduce our gatherers by 1 and add an additional farmer. It's not much, though. It's not. That's not going to yield huge amounts of success. So these folk here are going to be royally displeased if I don't sort them out a house fairly soon. So I'll get a couple more houses built. Put my 1 builder to work. Ah, right. A child named Glindy has been born, and Delmerson has become an adult. Well done, Delmerson. Let's get you on farm work as well. We do need that to be successful. So with only 1 builder, everything's going to take a little longer to to get done. But as long as I'm fairly sensible about things, I shouldn't be in a position where I've got 50 buildings queued up at the same time. Okay, and then the third icon. The icon you just saw there was my woodcutter saying, actually, I can't cut any more wood because doing so would lead me past the limit you have imposed on the amount of cut wood that we should have. Which is very good. It's a way of managing your storage. So if we have a quick look in our barn here, we've got some onions and mushrooms and potatoes, and that's going to keep people fed for a while. Duck meat as well, which is good. Corn, lovely. Herbs, which are not so much for seasoning. Herbs, no, their use is more directed towards medicinal. There we go. So our one builder, she's tinkering away there, getting this knocked into shape, and she's relatively healthy, reasonably happy. Age 23. She's going to be a professional builder for quite some time. And I think with this new one, that will be everyone housed. In fact, it's looking pretty much like everyone's housed now, and that's a very good thing. Good. Roof potential for everybody now. Are we there? Yes. Delmerson, age 10, with her own house. Delmerson the Hunter. Fair enough, I suppose. So the game runs on a year-to-year basis, but people age. In fact, I'm not totally sure how fast people age. I think it's like 5 or 6 years for every year of game time. Just to, I guess, just to keep it ticking along. It works reasonably well, but yeah, it's slightly odd to start with, where you look at a 10-year-old and then. You know, within 2 or 3 game years, they're in their 30s. It's not immediately the most logical thing you've come across, but it does work in a gameplay sense. We'll put a quick path through there just to speed them along. As you would expect, people move faster on pathing than they do not on pathing, I guess. What do you think? Another gatherer? Gatherers come up with all kinds of random stuff. I think we'll get another farm being built, because I think everybody's gonna come to terms with broccoli before too long. There we go, another 10 by 15, and that will be, then we'll be running 3 of 6 farmers, I guess. But there you go. Right, so we're underway, and long may it last. The challenge now is going to be building up enough of a reserve of food, and then the people to work it. Because the thing to bear in mind is, as much as if we take these 2 gatherer huts, I can't believe I built 2 of them. Nope, cancel. These 2 gatherer huts, the default is they want 4 citizens working on them in order to kind of max out their gathering potential, I guess. So having 2 of them means that there's 8 workers in maximum. Now, those buildings will work reasonably well with less than that. The reason I've maxed out my hunting cabin is because not only will they provide, you know, dead animals as a source of nutrition, but they'll also provide leather as well, which can be turned into clothing, which certainly helps keeps people nice and warm during the winter. There we go. So our first season of chickpeas. Oh, if we're quick, we might be able to get some broccoli in as well. There we go. So we've got 3 people tending to these 2 fields. This should lead us to a reasonably happy food surplus, at which point I can start ramping my population and building out accordingly. And if you haven't guessed already, this is going to turn into a series. So be sure to tune in next time to see how we get on. It's going to be a little slow to start with, but after a while we will be making progress. Oh, we've had Skyland has been born. Ah, well done, Skyland. And Heather has become an adult, which means we've got another labourer to play with. What do you think? Farm it up? Let's farm it up. Okay, that'll do it. Right. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. Chuck us a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll be back same time next week with the next installment. Chuck us a like. Let us know what you think. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.
This